So I've been meaning to make this video for a while now because I'm feeling moved to share a message with many of you, especially for those who are struggling with the application of these teachings and having difficulty with living in the end. Because I am seeing a very common and very misleading pattern in the people that I talk to, and I hear it every day, so it needs to be addressed. Basically, I'm seeing a lot of people that are making exceptions when it comes to the law. And what do I mean by this exactly? Well, for example, a very common phrase that I hear on a daily basis from multiple people goes something along the lines of, Missy, I believe in the law, but Missy, I know that I'm the operant power, but Missy, I know circumstances don't matter, but there's always that exception there. And so I have to make something abundantly clear, and it's the entire reason for today's video. So if you have noted difficulties with your application, if you are noticing a lot of double-mindedness, this video is for you. So I hope you stay through the end. Because when we're saying these things such as, I know I'm the operant power, but that statement is a complete contradiction. Because either the law works for everything or it doesn't work at all. And we need to be brutally honest with ourselves as to where we stand in this. Because if we are going back and forth and making exceptions for the law, that is in itself a form of double-mindedness. And from what I'm seeing from a lot of people, we're not even aware that we are doing this. For a lot of people, there comes the tendency to break things down into big and small manifestations. And in truth, there is no such thing as a big or small manifestation. It is us placing exceptions around what we are assuming and what we are imagining. And I know that it can feel like this is true. I know it can feel like some things are invariably harder than others to manifest. How else can we explain the inconsistency with this law? Why is it that I can have a fleeting thought about something totally random and totally indifferent, and I'll see it pass within seconds, but when it comes to the things I truly want, I work at this and I work at this and I work at this for weeks or months, and nothing happens. And I get it. It can appear as if some things are objectively harder to manifest than others. That is false. That is a fallacy. That is inconsistent with these teachings and what is true. The only reason it appears this way is because we are placing exceptions on the law. And I'm going to be repeating that over and over throughout this video. Because again, this is something that I am seeing all the time from people. I believe in this law, but I have faith that I am the operant power, but that is a contradiction. So if you find yourself along these lines of thinking, if you have said this before, if you can resonate with that statement, then I want you to really take a moment, sit with yourself and ask yourself, do I really and truly have faith in this? Do I really and truly believe that I am the operant power? Or do I believe that I have the ability to manifest some things but not others? Because something that is going to have to be part of this practice and is not always the most comfortable thing, admittedly, but we have to be able to be brutally honest with ourselves. Not just telling ourselves what we want to hear, but what we feel is true. Because as Neville always said, you don't manifest what you want to be true or what you desire, you manifest what you feel is true for you. But the actual truth is that the law is impartial. The law is not biased. The law is not cherry-picking what will work for you and what won't. It is not the law that is inconsistent. It is ourself, and specifically the exceptions that we make in what we deem is true or real or hard or easy. It all comes down to us. It all comes down to faith. Again, we cannot say that we believe in this, that we believe the law is real, that we trust in ourselves as the operant power, and then give exceptions to that rule. Those exceptions are ones that we are creating, and it is what creates the illusion of impartial. It's what makes this law appears to work for some things, but not for others. But at the end of the day, it is us being double-minded. It is us thinking that for the big things that we want, that's going to take more time and more effort and more techniques. We need to do more. We need to spend more time doing techniques. We have to do. Again, that is not objective truth. That is our perception. That is what we are assuming. Exception is an illusion that makes us believe that there are some things that are inherently harder for us, and we are believing this to be a fact, as if it is something outside of us, which again implies that you do not have the power here, and again implying that you are at the mercy of an other outside force, which is never the case. And this is precisely the reason why Neville talked about the pearl of great price. This is why he emphasized so much the importance of building faith. Because at the end of the day, either you believe in this completely, either the law works for everything across the board, no matter how seemingly big or small, or it doesn't work at all. And that is the fork in the road that we inevitably have to come to. And yes, it is uncomfortable. Yes, it is going to make us feel really uneasy because there's a part of us that doesn't fully believe that this is true for everything. There's a part of us that has a very difficult time accepting that we can have literally anything that we want. And that's okay. Everybody starts from that premise. Literally everybody. But if we are going to continue to believe in some things and not others, we are going to continue to see inconsistent results. We need to be able to discern and see clearly that we have attachments to these bigger things which leave us feeling unable or fearful to let go and trust this process, to trust that the source of all that is, which is God within you, I am, or awareness, your consciousness of being. We are too fearful to allow God to let things unfold for us. We are gripped far too tightly because we are terrified. And we are terrified because we ultimately do not have faith in this. At least not for all of it. That is the definition of being double-minded. And as it says in the Bible, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So how do we overcome this? How do we get ourselves to a place where we are no longer creating exceptions for this law? Again, this will all come down to faith. We have to fully understand and accept that there is only one cause in this entire world, in this entire universe, and that is I am. That is you. Specifically, your consciousness, your awareness. The formless, unconditioned self, that is God. If you instead choose to grip tightly to your desire in fear that it's going to go away if you release and surrender to it, if you are constantly giving your attention to the fears and the doubts and the objections and the insecurities, you are keeping yourself in purgatory, which is why I stress often the need to really begin to observe how the law is already working and how it is already in effect in your day-to-day. You are always utilizing this law. You are just not aware of it, but you can become aware of it. You can become aware of the relationship between your inner world, your assumptions, what you are identifying with, what you are perceiving, and what is taking place in the physical world around you. The proof is everywhere. We just need to see it. But many are still glazing over this fact, and they're instead leaning into and using this law to get a sense of comfort, and they're using this more for reassurance. Hence why we're constantly seeking validation, we're constantly seeking success stories, we're constantly looking for more and more proof and more methods and more techniques and more accounts. The fear is keeping us stuck as hearers of the word instead of doers. And perhaps we so desperately want to believe that this is true, but there is still a part of us that does not. And that's okay. But the first thing that we have to do here is accept where we are and be very clear as to where we are dwelling. That way we can begin to build on this faith as we become more observant, as we become more aware of how we are already utilizing this law for everything, we will inevitably reach a place where we cannot deny it. But so long as we're continuing to make exceptions, saying that this works for some things or not for others, or that it works for some people and not for others, we're going to keep ourselves in limbo. And I want to share a quote from Neville that I have shared on this channel before, but needs to be reinstated because it is one of my favorite quotes from him, and it really encapsulates what I'm trying to say here. Take my challenge and put this philosophy to the test. If it does not work, you should not use it as a comforter. If it is not true, you must completely discard it. I know it is true. You will not know it until you try either to prove or disprove it. Too many of us join isms, and we are afraid to put them to the test because we feel we might fail. And then, where are we? Not really wanting to know the truth concerning it, we hesitate to be bold enough to put it to the test. You say, I know it would work in some other way. I do not really want to test it. While I have not yet disproved it, I can still be comforted by it. Now, do not fool yourself. Do not think for 1 second that you are wise. Prove or disprove this law. Do not think for 1 second that by creating exceptions, you are being honest or wise. You must either prove or disprove this law. And that means for everything, because the law either works for everything or it does not work at all. And we will not know this unless we really put it to the test. Now, I know that this is a message that many of you may not want to hear, but it is important nonetheless, because I'm not here to tell people what they want to hear. I'm not here to tell you things that are going to make you feel happy. I am here to give you the truth so that you can create the changes that you want. But if we continue to cling to the notion that some things are easy and some things are hard, some things are manageable, some things aren't, we can have the small things but not the big things, we are doing ourselves a disservice, because that is what I did, and I wasted a lot of time with it. Buying the pearl is simply accepting whatever you desire. It is allowing yourself to fully embody and embrace the version of you who already has it. Applying these teachings should not feel like work. It feels that way because we're putting too much effort into this, because we're creating this idea that manifesting this thing that we have up on the pedestal is going to take a lot of work. And this is false. Instead, this really should feel like play. This should feel enjoyable. This should feel natural. We should be excited at the idea of turning within and going into imagination, because for things that we desire, why wouldn't it be enjoyable? Unless we are trying to do this from a place of fear and doubt. We must, at some point, ideally sooner than later, buy that pearl of great price. Prove or disprove this law. If it works, then it has to work for everything. Your SP, that successful business, all the abundance in the world, none of those things can be an exception, because there are no exceptions. There is only one cause. There is no other. Any opposition we face is our own creation. So change it, deny it, accept this law or don't. But one way or the other, you must pick one. And once you do this, once you fully understand that there is only one cause, and that cause is you, always has been, always will be. And as cause, there are no exceptions. As soon as you realize this, as soon as you accept this to be true, that is how you will be free from any and all barriers. That is how you will be free from your fears, your objections, and your doubts. And that is how you will ultimately manifest literally anything, no matter how big or small. Once you buy that pearl, you will then go on to manifest anything you want. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you found this helpful. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you are interested in checking out any of my other resources, I will have links down below to my coaching programs, my workshops, masterclasses, my blog, my podcast, my social links, Got a ton of resources down in that description box, so don't forget to check it out. Also be sure to check out the other videos on this channel. Be sure to check out my Manifestation Fundamentals playlist. Each video is a different topic, but it all talks about how to manifest the best life ever. So until we meet next time, you guys, as always, please take care, be well, and never forget that there are no exceptions and only one cause. That is you. Never forget how powerful you truly are. Happy manifesting, guys.